Hi everyone, welcome back to Essentials of a Balanced Life with Summer. So, today I wanted to focus on the topic of coping skills. So, coping skills is something that you've likely heard the term before, whether it be from another person or when you're in therapy or just kind of day to day. Coping skills are just things that we do to help us get through life on a daily basis. Some things you may do, you may not even realize that they're coping skills. But oftentimes, with coping skills, we use them during difficult situations like a crisis or having a problematic emotion situation, like just to try to get us through it. So, in terms of coping skills, there's emotion focused coping skills. So, trying to focus on coping with an emotion that maybe doesn't settle with you well and trying to change that around. Or there's more problem focused coping skills, which is more situational circumstances and in terms of what can I do to work through this problem, come up with a solution, cope in the process there. So, in terms of the emotion focused coping skills, so this is, keeping track of your emotions. And so to do that, it might be to cope, giving yourself a couple minutes just to meditate, check in with yourself, possibly journaling, just everything that's on your mind and that's going on. Exercise is a good way to increase those good emotions as well. So any kind of movement is good. Um, Basically, with emotion focused coping is, doing those things that bring on good emotions. A lot of times this can be hobbies, different interests, favorite places, or maybe it's different comfort items as well. So, all about trying to increase those better feeling emotions, those things that make you feel good. And so we cope by, doing different hobbies, different things we enjoy there. For problem focused coping skills, this is more what can I do to work towards a solution? Like, what are some steps I can take? So these can be viewed as coping skills. So, this might be asking for support, or it might be creating to do lists or making a list of the steps you need to take to overcome a problem, maybe working on managing your time, so having more of like a structure or a schedule to your day so you know what to expect and have that predictability. Or it might be in terms of boundaries because maybe the problem was that you took on more than you could handle there, so being able to say no. And, in turn, not only is that focusing on solving the problem, but that's likely going to help with the emotion later on too, with feeling less anxious or less stressed and feeling more content in that way. So, there is a couple, if you look online, there is, various coping skills lists. There's not necessarily, one specific way or, the right way to do it. In terms of coping, that I would say is that with substances. So, whether it be alcohol, marijuana, any kind of drug use there, is that not to use it as a form of coping. It's one thing to use it to enhance an experience, or to, wind down at the end of the day, I get it. But if it's just to suppress what's really going on, then that wouldn't be a healthy coping mechanism there. But, in terms of, looking at this list next to me, of ways of coping, is that it might be, making sure that you're having a balanced diet. Maybe part of the reason that you're struggling with coping is that maybe you're not eating properly or fueling your body right. Maybe you're dehydrated, so you're feeling fatigued or the lack of motivation, or it's leading to irritability and causing issues. Or, other thing is distractions are, good ways of coping, just, to kind of reset, take a break, come back to what it is later on there. Don't use distractions long term. They're more meant to be just kind of short term, at most maybe for the day, and then revisit what it is that you need to address, in terms of what's the problem there. But talking to people is a good way of coping, just getting those emotions out as well. um, Also volunteering or, doing something outside of yourself, so feeling like you're doing something productive, helping others, those are good ways of coping, feeling like that sense of purpose as well. Um, what else? Let's see. I think that, art is a good way of expressing as well. So, those emotions that may be hard to express verbally or to someone, you can put in the form of art, various types there, whether it be music, painting, was it, creating things, food like baking, cooking, I mean, there's so many different forms of art that you can do. Um, let's see. I like to say, in terms of, coping with like motivation or, those difficult things, is try to find ways to make things fun as well, just so then you're more motivated. So having little techniques to make things fun, that's a good way of coping as well. And you can think of, in terms of your coping is back to one of my videos, it was about like the 7 aspects of wellness. And when you address those different parts of your wellness, then that shows that you're coping well as well. Like, and the thing is that when you use coping skills or these things on a regular basis, it becomes more prevention at that point. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's just more practice, building that habit, getting it more ingrained as well. Um, and other ways of coping that I often mention to people is using like I statements, positive affirmations. So that self talk of telling yourself, like, I am capable, I can do this, I am successful, I am doing my best, and that's what matters. So, talking yourself through things is a good way of coping too, kind of building up the courage as well. Sometimes, we just need a break from things. And so that's where taking a shower or taking a bath, going for a walk, going somewhere different, change of scenery can also be ways of coping as well. So, I would encourage you to, do some research online. You'll likely find some lists of, ideas of coping. Feel free to talk to a therapist and talk with your friends and family, see what they do to cope. When certain situations come up, you might get ideas that way. But the importance of coping skills is that you have them for a variety of situations and various emotions because sometimes one coping skill might not work in that moment. So it's good to have backup options. So I would have at least like 5 coping skills that you can just kind of, keep in your back pocket, for when the times come up there. Hope that this was helpful for you. So look forward to hearing about what kind of coping skills that people use. All right, have a good night.